Let's try some factoring practice problems. Question number 1, we're going to factor out the GCF. The greatest common factor is 2x. 2x. Be careful now. 2x times x is 2x squared, and 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. So indeed, as we do distribution, you feed a dog, feed the cat, we get the correct result. Let's factor question number 2. We're going to use difference of squares. So whenever you see something squared minus something squared, and that something happens to be 3, the square root of 9 is 3, all you have to do is bracket AA plus minus, and you simply take the square root of that number, 3, and then you have negative 3 here. If you really want to take the time to expand this out, first, outside, inside, last, you'll realize that we get the correct answer. A squared, let's do outside. Inside would be plus 3a. And last would be negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. You see that the insides cancel. So from now on, when you see this factored form and you want to expand it out, all you have to do is a squared, the first term squared, minus the last term squared. And that's a shortcut to expand it quickly instead of dealing with these middle terms. Let's try number 3. So the first thing we always try is we try to pull out the greatest common factor. We're going to pull out a 2 and x. And what remains is x squared minus 9. Notice how 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times negative 9 is negative 18x. But keep on going. Don't forget to factor fully. So we have bracket, bracket. Hopefully we recognize difference of squares. So we go plus minus. The square root of 9 is 3. And now we have trinomial factoring. When you see 3 terms, you can try to factor directly. X times x is x squared, and we need to find 2 numbers that multiply to be negative 10, but add to be negative 3. Let's try 5 and 2. You can always try all the factors, 1 times 10, 2 times 10, etc. Sorry, 2 times 5 is 10. Just list them off one by one. And finally, we found a match made in heaven. 5 and 2, they multiply to be 10, and they add to be 3-ish. You can see that the winner is negative, so we put the negative in front of the bigger number. And we'll try positive here because negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And yet when we add these, the result is negative 3. So this is correct. So we factored it. Let's expand then factor. So we know that this is the answer for the factored form. So let's expand. I recommend you expand this part first, although it's not wrong to expand in a different way. So let's expand it this way. X squared. First, outside. Inside is plus 2x. And last. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. In the future, it's good to be able to do this in your head. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3x. Let's feed the dog, let's feed the cat, and let's feed the bird. So we have negative 2x squared plus 6x plus 20. Now let's try factoring. So the first thing that we always do when factoring is to pull out the common factor, negative 2. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 10. We see a trinomial here, so let's try to to see if we can just quickly factor this by sight. What times what is 10? It adds to be -3. Let's try 5 and 2. And we know that the winner is negative, so we put a negative sign here. Let's try a plus sign here. Yes, these multiply to be this, and they add to be this, the coefficient of x. So we went full circle, we expanded, and now we factored. Just for practice, in terms of expanding, know that you're allowed to do this. So this is the original question. We're going to just try expanding in a silly way for fun. We're going to feed a dog, feed a cat. If you want to expand this way, it is allowed, but make sure you keep that bracket. The x minus 5 remains the same. So this is the same thing as -2x minus 4. So you can expand this way. Now, just for fun, let's just try this again. I'm going to rewrite this as x plus 2 times -2 x minus 5. So we moved this -2 in between these factors, and that's okay. So let's, for fun, try feeding the dog, feeding the cat. So this is the same thing as x plus 2 multiplied by -2x plus 10. So let's continue expanding this out fully, just so that we can see that the result is the same. X times -2x is -2x squared. We have x times 10 is 10x. As for inside, we have 2 times -2x, which is -4x. And we have 2 times 10, which is 20. As you can see, we have some x's in the middle here. 10 minus 4 is 6, so we have 6x. So you can see the result is going to be -2x squared plus 6x plus 20. And that's exactly the same as over here, the result. So please feel free to move factors around. Multiplication is commutative. If you're asked what's 2 times 3 times 4, you can always shuffle these. That's the same thing as 3 times 2 times 4, etc. You can move them around. You can even say 4 times 3 times 2. Okay, so now it's your turn. Good luck.